decides to become a mother.
That's right.
But we certainly all know one.
That's right.
Because we came from them.
Because Tupac said, we all came from a mother. And we have observed our moms and their journeys and all the journeys they've traveled. There's Miriam. I myself have had my own journey as a mom.
Look at that face on behind.
That behind. Where's Philly Row? Where's Philly Row?
Where's Philly Row?
Well, listen, the journey of being a mom has been filled with joy and its own set of sacrifices.
That's right. There are so many lessons that our moms, there she is, have taught us. And it's not just how to spot a good red, whether they or we realize it or not, okay? And this is so true. I find the older I get, the more I'm in the back of my head like, oh my God, this is what my mom was telling me the whole time.
Yeah.
So parenting expert and friend of the show, Bethany Braun-Silva, explores this topic and more in her new book, Like a Mother, Banish Guilt, Blaze Your Trail, and Break the Rules to Create a Life You Love.
Hello, Bethany.
Hello. Oh my gosh, it's so surreal to be here with you're holding my book.
This is your book, lady.
It's crazy.
So tell us, at what point did you realize you had to write this book?
You know, it's so funny. Actually, in the beginning of the book, I talk about like coming out of the haze of motherhood, just like long enough to like get a bright idea, right? But the first name for this book was called First Comes Love, and it was a play off of the nursery rhyme. I had done everything out of order. I was a mom before I became a wife. I had started to pursue a career in journalism with like no education experience or contacts in the industry, and I was like, well, if I'm doing it, like certainly I have something to share and want to put it in a book and help other women.
Why not?
Well, this is fantastic. So it sounds like it's not just a book for moms of human children.
Absolutely not. It's not. But the inspiration really was, and what sort of carried me through the writing of this book was like, imagine, you know, if we gave ourselves the same love, like or mother, like you think about the love that you have for your mom or anyone you really care about. That mother's love is so universal. You don't necessarily have to be a mother to understand what it means. Now imagine we put that back onto ourselves as women, right? Like imagine what a world it would be, right?
Right. So if we loved ourselves the way our mothers love us.
Unconditionally.
And not just the love. I mean, think about like the acceptance, right? Like how many chances do you give your kids, your spouse, right? Like all of that, the forgiveness, the support.
Right.
Yeah. So it was all of that. That really was sort of the inspiration that like carried me through the writing of this book.
So I understand, we know that you have a podcast.
Yes.
And I understand in that podcast with your guests, some of them quite famous, you talk about the various levels and degrees and stages of motherhood. And one thing that resonated with us was guilt, because I know I have felt it. No matter how hard I try, there's a moment where I'm like, wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had said no. So what your response to that mother's guilt?
Yeah, it's something we talk about a lot, and certainly me as a parenting editor, it's sort of like this, just as universal as a mother's love is like the flip side of that, like the mother's guilt. But when I think about like not serving myself, it almost makes me feel more guilty, right? Because my kids need a mother who's fulfilled professionally, emotionally, and all of that. So for me, that was to go ahead and write this book, to work outside of the home, to do all of those things. So if I were to not do that, that would be a disservice to myself, and I really wouldn't be able to show up for my kids in the way that I want to, because that whole part of me would be missing.
Right, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the guilt that we say society puts on us. It's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of our own. We're doing it to ourselves. But the societal norms have left such an impact in many facets of life. But I want to talk about, because you talk about what we should do to live a life of success. So how do you define that? What is your advice for mothers and also women who don't want to have children, or you know, who
decide not to, or
for whatever reason.
Well, I think, you know, because the title can be misleading, right? Because it certainly isn't just for mothers, right? It is this idea of, you know, maybe throwing those shoulds out the window. So I do have not just my experience, but the experience of 9 amazing women who have appeared on the podcast. And it's really just their advice for like betting on themselves, right? The chances that they took on their careers, on their professional lives, on their personal lives. And so really just how that sort of carried them through. So it's about taking those, you know, like the sacrifices, the old rules of like, you know, putting everybody first and sort of throwing that out the window and creating new rules that serve the life that you want to live.
Right. You said something so, hello, Adrienne Bailon. You said something so interesting that as you get older, you realize you're saying things like, oh my gosh,
That's my mother.
That's my mother. How could we use that as to our advantage, do you think?
Well, I actually quote my own mother in this book several times because she
Isn't that something?
born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. Like, she does not mince words, does not mess around. And one of my favorite, things that I sort of highlight in this book was a time when I was saying really bad stuff about myself. And, she came over and she's like, if you don't stop saying these bad things about yourself, I'm gonna knock your effing head off, basically. So it's sort of like these things, right? Like that mother's love, right? But I think we can all relate.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, that's my daughter you're talking about.
Right.
Like, stop saying that. So I hope to instill that in my own kids,
Sure.
like that positive self-talk. That's another thing we talk about in the book. Just looking at yourself in the mirror, talking to yourself like your own best friend.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to
Talk
your
to
girl?
yourself
What would you
like
say
someone
to each
you love.
other?
Exactly.
Right.
I say whenever she says something bad about us, don't talk about my friend like that.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, the women in our community. You guys have been so supportive of me, and I want to just keep spreading that.
Right.
So that's really what this book is all
what makes the
about.
world
And
go
it's
around.
a simple concept.
Yes.
It truly is that, if we loved each other ourselves the way our mothers loved us, even mother-daughter relationships that are challenging.
Of course.
It all comes from love. Sometimes it goes wayward, but the inception is love.
And I mentioned that as well. Often, more likely than not, we were born from love, right? Of course, there's certain scenarios where there's not. But I think it's sort of to remember that, the people who brought us into the world, they wanted us, they loved us.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to generalize too much.
No, but
it's
it's a very good point.
Yeah.
And just to use that on ourselves so that we can use it on others and inspire.
So that we
thank
can
you for
love
like a mother.
like a mother.
Bethany,
Thank
you
you.
just keep on out.
hits.
You're out here doing everything.
She's
and
out
anything.
Bethanying herself.
She's Bethany. That's got to be a verb.